Hello, everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Eliza at Eliza Journals. If you're new here, welcome. If not, welcome back. So, today I am going to be doing a journal entry in my research journal. And if you're not new here, you already know that this is my journal where I research random people. My best friend thinks it's weird, but I absolutely love it. So this particular week, which I am a little behind, so by the time y'all see this video, it will literally be August. And this particular week, I am focusing on curators, which I think curators. I'm just going to say curators because I'm Southern, and that's just how we say it in the South. And at first, I had no idea what a curator was, because I know some people have asked me like, how do I even get the list of like occupations for each week? And I literally just typed in Google A through Z list of occupations, and like hundreds of them came up. Well, not hundreds, I'm exaggerating. But about 60 or 70 different types of occupations came up. But I do notice that back in like the back pretty much back in like the 18th, 19th centuries, a lot of occupations were around pretty much like science and math. And it's so funny how when I do my research, especially on like historical figures that are deceased, a lot of their occupations were pretty much centered around the social sciences and the natural sciences. So that's very interesting to see. But anyway, this particular week I was focusing on curators from my master list, and I literally had to research what a curator was, and because I've seen the word before, but the way that I've seen the word is that I have a friend, she's like a fashion curator. So she basically is like a designer. Well, not like a fashion designer. She's pretty much like a person who curates looks. So I literally thought like, okay, well, a curator, then they must like pick out clothes and things like that. But no. Um, so I pretty much like had the perception of what a curator was completely wrong. So when I researched that a curator is pretty much someone who's employed by a museum or a gallery to basically manage like collections of artworks, artifacts, historical pieces, and things like that, which I was kind of shocked because I've been to so many museums. Um, and I love the way that the artworks and the historical artifacts and things, I love how they're just organized in the museums and things like that. It just really brings the museum to life. And when I was doing my research, I was like, it really like a light bulb went off. Like, I promise y'all, I am smart. Like, I've been to college 3 times. So it's just, I guess, I just never, I've never really been mindful of like how these pieces and these historical pieces and things, how they're organized, how they're collected, how they're gathered. And I just literally thought, different people just put this stuff up, make it look really good, but you really actually have positions and careers for people to gather these pieces for the museums and things like that. It is, I mean, it is actually amazing. I just never in a million years thought that people actually did this kind of work. Like, it's like, where do you even get all these historical pieces and artworks and artifacts, and like, where do you even get this stuff from? But as I was researching, um, they basically, like, the museums or like art galleries, they pretty much like hire people in these roles in order to like help them display like pieces of artworks, like, in an organized way. So I really just thought that, that was just amazing to just learn about that particular type of occupation anyway. Um, so this particular day, I researched Cornelia Butler, and it was just interesting to just learn a lot about her. I really try to highlight a lot of women when I do my research, because I'm not going to sit here and lie and pretend that we don't live in a patriarchal society, because we do. And a lot of positions are really dominated by men, which you can see that in a lot of my previous journal entries on my Instagram. You see that a lot of like the sciences, the natural sciences, are just heavily dominated by men. And it took me a lot of digging to really pull out like the women that are just as significant as men, because anytime I've typed in a specific occupation, nothing but men come up. And I'm like, I know that women dominate these spheres as well. So anytime I look for people in these particular occupations, I literally have to type in female curators, which is ridiculous, y'all. It really is ridiculous. And like, especially if you're like using Google or something like that, and even down to like race and ethnicity, if you're looking for a specific race or ethnic group, you literally have to type in Japanese curators, you know, because the only thing the search engine will think to pull up is like, oh, here's all the men, And that also just amazes me how um, just even the search engines are patriarchal. Seriously, it's like, this is weird. Um, However, one thing that I did learn about her is that from 2006 to 2013, she served as a chief curator of the drawings of the Museum of Contemporary Art in Los Angeles, and she held several curatorial positions of the Newberger Museum of Art in Purchase, New York. And she also is a co-author of a book, From Conceptualism to Feminism. And in 2020, she was awarded the Audrey Ermis Award for Curatorial Excellence, presented by CCS Bard, the Center for Curatorial Studies at Bard College. So it's literally like, I've learned so much just from researching this week. And also, I'm going to tell you all like some other people that I previously researched this week was Zoe Whitley, Sun Jung Kim, Naomi Beckwith, Koyo Kuyo, and then I'll be researching Maximiliano Gianni and Okwi and Weezor. And of course, that's an African name. And I actually just did not know that curator was like an actual position, and now I'm wanting to research more into like how people actually get into the curator business. Like, what exactly do you have to go to college for? What exactly do you have to do in order to become a curatorial for like an art gallery or a museum? Now that I know this is an actual legitimate job in a position in galleries and museums, just becoming more aware of things that, you know, youth can do, especially if they like to draw and they love pictures and things like that, because we do have a lot of youth at our group home who are into the arts and things like that. So just giving them other avenues of things that they can do. And this is just actually helping me identify other types of careers for the youth that I work with. So let me know in the comments if you know of any curators. If you are interested in learning about this position even more. I know someone in another video asked me about the list of like occupations, if I had a list, and I actually just wrote some occupations down that were of interest to me, and maybe they would be of interest to you as well if you're wanting to start something like this. Because I know sometimes it can be hard getting started, especially if you want to do something like this. I know someone on my Instagram commented and was like, this is kind of like a commonplace notebook. But I don't know if I would call it that. I just call it a research journal because I just feel like I'm just researching people. So if you are interested in some other occupations and you're interested in doing a research journal yourself, I do have a couple of things that I like that you might like as well. So, some of the occupations that I wrote down was agricultural worker, ambulance officer, art director, athlete, baker, consultant, electrician, equipment operator, farmer, florist, gardener. See, florist and gardener, no one ever thinks of those. People always think of things like doctor, lawyer, nurse, like people that are like just always in the view of the eye, but no one ever thinks about like a florist, a gardener. You know, no one ever thinks about those people because they're pretty much like under the radar. So, and I thought that was very interesting. I'm like, wow, a historical or famous florist. That would be amazing to research. Also, I put down here famous chefs, bartenders. No one ever thinks of a bartender as like famous. You know what I mean? Like famous bartender. Like what? um, let's see what else. Fishermen. So I'm really trying to do things like outside of the box. So fishermen, that's outside of the box because it's like who's researching a famous fisherman or a historical fisherman or the first fisherman? You know, like who is really thinking of that kind of stuff? So things like optician, photographer, famous researcher, software developer, surveyor, translator, veterinarian, things like that. So just let me know in the comments, if that list will help you get started. And I really want to appreciate you for watching. Until next time, bye.